Most disappointed of myself. I answered everyone's question, and it was probably one of the better 45 minutes of programs that we've ever had. And I just noticed I hadn't pushed the live button. Oh, God. I won't be able to do it again today. So much energy and so much passion, so much discussion. And it was a beautiful delivery of every single question. And I just realized I wasn't live. Very disappointing. I wish it was. I wish it was recorded. Oh, damn it! I can't repeat all that. I answered every single question, and with so much clarity. Oh God! From Princeton to Anup to Anthony's question to Just Mike's to TQG's. Oh my God. Ah, shit. I ain't gonna do it again. Holy shit. I can't do it again. And I keep asking you, can you guys let me know how the connection is? Can you see me okay? Nobody answered. So eventually I said, well, if you guys don't answer, I'm not going to answer your questions. Oh, man. Oh, well, I thought it's one of our better. Oh, well. Elaborately discussed HOCD, elaborately discussed every question. Oh, well, that was shits. Connection is fine now, but I've been talking for 41 minutes, and I thought you guys can hear me because I thought I'm live, but I wasn't. Wow. Oh, wow. Give me a moment to. You have no idea how I've been connecting your questions to proper information and analyzation, and the delivery was good, and everything was making crystal clear sense. I thought it was probably one of the best sessions we've had, and I was very happy that I could respond to all your questions the way it was flowing. But I'm so pissed off right now. Okay. You should have seen all the energy I put into it. I'm kind of drained right now. Oh, man. Princeton's question elaborately discussed it, and I said, well, it has to be. We talked about the content of consciousness and everything. And we talk about Anup's. All right. All right. So, I guess there's no sense but start over. So Princeton says, good to see you again, Master Miraculous. Okay. I laughed that time, last time, right? And Anup says, sir, I'm from India. I'm 19 years old, and I have HOCD and I'm losing natural interest in girls, my question is, if I don't consult with doctor, then when my HOCD problem will be solved without any medicine? You don't need medicine for HOCD. HOCD is a glitch in the signaling system of the brain. It's a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain. The amygdala wants to protect you, so alarms you. From millions of years ago, amygdala's job was to alarm you for your survival. So if you were, let's say, in the jungle, because that was all there was, and you would hear a tweak sound, for the fear of if the dinosaur is about to eat you, you would just run because amygdala would give you a signal that there's a danger. And you wouldn't wait to see if it's real or not. You would just simply flee, because that was the mechanism. That was why amygdala would send the signal for you not to judge it, for you to act on it and save yourself. Now, that amygdala has still remained overactive in some of us, and it sends an emotional danger signal when it doesn't exist. But we react to it nevertheless, because we don't seek evidence that if this danger signal that was sent by amygdala is correct, should I act on it or not? We are programmed to act on it immediately. It's like in the war times when the bombers would show up on the skies of London, the siren would sound, and as soon as the siren would sound, indicating there are bombers over town, people would close the curtains, turn the lights off. Close the curtains, turn the lights off. But often the siren would go off. There was no bombers. But people wouldn't care what the facts are. They wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even investigate. They were programmed to do the same thing when they hear the siren. Close the curtains, turn the lights off. Close the curtains, turn the lights off. Even though there were no bombers. Same thing. Amygdala sends a signal of danger, knowing who you are, what your gender inclination and program is, to protect you. And since it's overactive and it's oversensitive, protects you even further by sending danger signals, even if there is none, even if a thought shows up, not the actuality of you, a suggestion shows up, like a picture you see in the street, or someone who is wearing a certain kind of a attire or none that represents certain thing that could represent a certain gender that you're not inclined or you're not interested in. Sees it as something to bring to your notice, so you will protect yourself, to be aware of it. Any type of a possibility that you need to be aware of, amygdala sends a signal, danger signal, when there is no danger, overactiveness. And naturally, you would comply to act by becoming anxious and start, questioning, and why is it there? Because it shows up in my head, that sort of thought, it must mean something. While all along, brain is an apparatus, is an organ. Like any other organ, it malfunctions. So when intrusive thought that is not in line with your values shows up, we have a mechanism in midbrain, basal ganglia, in the striatum, called caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus's job is to shut down intrusive thoughts once you notice them. Every human being on earth has intrusive thoughts. But in non-OCD brains, when intrusive thoughts show up and you notice it, oh, that's a nasty thought because it's not in line with your values. And then caudate nucleus shuts it down because it knows it's not in line with values of this person, and that's an intrusive thought. But when it malfunctions, it doesn't do the job that it's designed to do. So when it malfunctions, as it doesn't shut down the intrusive thoughts, they hover. The thought doesn't dissipate as it's designed to do. And when it doesn't dissipate, you get duped to think because it doesn't dissipate, it must mean something. I must be changing. The idea that the brain says brain cannot lie. These are all bogus. Brain lies, brain is stupid, brain is not your intellect, and brain malfunctions. And the fact that the brain has the power to, through the thought that's showing up in it, make the body react emotionally or in any way, shape, or form, that physical reaction that the brain induces through thoughts to body to react, to show its reaction to that thought, becomes an evidence for you that the thought must be correct. Why? Because I have a physical reaction to it, which is all bogus. Because brain has the power to make your body react when you're not interested at all for that reaction. No difference when you go to a doctor and the doctor wants to check your reflexes and has you put your leg, cross your legs, and then hits your knee, the joint of your knee, with a rubber hammer. And when it hits it, your leg jumps up. Did you want your leg to jump up? No, you had nothing to do. It's a reflection. It's a reflex. Reflex to that. So the brain can make the body react to things that you didn't want to, but it has the power. But the fact that it can make your body react emotionally or physically, that is not an evidence that the thought that was generated in the brain has any accuracy or legitimacy to it. You need to understand that you're not the brain, brain is not you. There is a separation between brain and you. The fact that you've been thinking that the brain is you, it's your leader, it's your protector, you're supposed to follow the brain, that puts you into shit all through life, and that brings craziness. Look, it's very simple to understand that you are separate from the brain. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. Why? Because the brain that you're using today just came to you only 40,000 years ago. But human species were living for millions of years before 40,000 years ago when we got to have a brain like this. So how did we live then? We lived by stem brain. We lived like animals. We lived on instinctiveness. We lived instinctively. We ran, we hunt, we slept, we had sex, and there were no question about your sexuality or inclination. Why? Because there were no ability to think or speak. No words, no meanings, no thoughts. Thoughts are the roots of all problems. If you understand this and understand that hereditally, genetically, biologically, originally, you're separate from the brain. Brain and you are not the same. Brain is an addition apparatus to you. It can malfunction like any electrical equipment, like any other organ in your body, like your kidney, your liver malfunctions. Even your knee malfunctions, and you help it to heal. You learn what to do. Your intestine malfunctions. You get diarrhea and say, oh, diarrhea. You don't say, oh, I've been diarrhea and diarrhea is what I've always been. I didn't know that. No. You start having yogurt and rice and you heal it to fix it and see what the doctor says and so on if you need to. Same thing with other organs. They malfunction. Same thing with the brain. Electronic systems break down. Brain is an electronic system, all neurons. There is no actuality, all virtual. It can come up with all kind of unbelievable, non-existing things as an ideas. But because it's happening in the screen of your head, you think it's you. It's an ability and an apparatus built for your convenience and your survival in this journey of life has. And that ability is conjuring up things. Conjuring up things that doesn't even exist, but it can conjure it up. I give an example. If you close your eyes and imagine for me, go ahead, close your eyes and imagine for me a lion with the head of a duck. A lion with the head of a duck. Or a lion with the head of an elephant with the trunk. You can imagine that, can you not? But is that an actual thing in nature? No. But the brain has a capability to create that image in your head, even though it doesn't exist in nature. When the brain has such power to do such things, brain can also make you and suggest an image, imagine things that you're not all about at all and you're not interested, and has the power to make you think that you're that, or you want to be that, or you would like to be that, or you prefer to be that, all because the brain has such power, but doesn't mean that is an actuality and truth in your case. It means the brain is malfunctioning and making up things because of its own reasons. Malfunctioning, wants to engage to not feel insecure, because from millions of years ago, our race has always been in pursuit of security. Security for the physical portion of our entity, and security for our psychological portion of our entity. Psychological security and physical security. But they each seek and find this security in different environments. Brain doesn't find security in the same way that the body finds security. Your body finds security because you see your ears are here, your limbs are here, your legs are here, everything is physically here, and you're in your apartment or your home, door is locked, and you're in good part of town. Physical environment, secured physical environment brings physical security to you. But the brain doesn't find security in the same way in a physically secured environment. But it wants security. But it finds its security differently. How? By occupation, by busyness, by creating thoughts. Through this creating thoughts, engaging you to debate it, to defy it, to refute it, to agree with it, to follow it, to fear from it, to be anxious for it, and all that, it creates interaction. It creates exchange. And that exchange creates busyness and occupation in the brain. That's how brain finds security. So when it creates something that you're not about, it knows you're going to rise against it, you're going to debate it, and that debate and refute and that interaction creates that atmosphere of having a place in a different dimension to feel that I'm here, I have a place. Because brain, unlike the body, doesn't know that it has a place in the body to concentrate, to focus. So it's all over the place. It's one day here, one day one time, a minute about the last year, it thinks about 2 weeks ago, it thinks about the future, goes to Mars, comes down, and a second later ready to go to moon. It's all over the place. It doesn't have a place to be, so it creates that place to be in a virtual world, in a interactive business occupation in thoughts. Gets you involved in order to feel itself it's alive. Hmm? I forgot what I wanted to say. So, yeah. Somehow I forgot the train of thoughts. So if it has that power to create all these things that are non-existence, it can also make you question or become bamboozled because it has the power to keep having something show up in your head in order to create that busyness for itself. But you, if you are smart enough and educated enough about the biology of you, about your existence, how you are, then you will know that the brain is not your leader and you're not supposed to believe or follow the leader. You're supposed to judge the brain's thoughts. You're above the brain. You're the boss of the brain. Brain makes thoughts because brain is thought manufacturing plants. And you judge the thoughts if they're useful or not. There is nothing on this earth that can make any thought on its own by the brain to become an actuality in your life. It is only you who can choose, allow any thought to have any say, any meaning, any worth or value or actuality in life, or die by the wayside by not paying attention to it. That means you're above the brain. You're the boss of the brain. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is not your leader. Brain is not intellect. Brain is a stupid. Brain is an apparatus to facilitate your journey in this life for your convenience. If you focus on that, you will understand that you're the ultimate boss and the brain has manipulation powers, but not ability to become actual. It's always trying to become actual, to take over you. But you're the only power. Through the power, choices, and veto can veto anything that brain comes up with or to allow it to become an actuality, but only you can do that, not the brain on its own. Brain is virtual. It has no responsibility or risk in his life. It doesn't put anything online. It doesn't risk anything by all these things that it conjures up because nothing belongs to it. Nothing can hinder it. Nothing that can destroy its survival. It's neurons. But it knows there's an idiot like you, like me, who can possibly be duped to believe that the brain is above me. That's the problem. If you understand that you're above the brain, without you, brain is nothing. Why? Because if there was no you, if there was no you, there would have never been a brain. Why? Because this brain wasn't in existence until 40,000 years ago. But you were in existence a million years before 40,000 years ago. Our species lived instinctively. As I mentioned, it ran, it hunted, it slept, it had sex. It needed nothing else. There were no HOCD at the time. There were no intrusive thoughts at the time because we had no ability to think or speak. All that started because brain was added to us, developed into this brain 40,000 years ago. From then on, we were able to speak and think. That's when the problems started. If you understand all these things, then you will learn that all you need to do is to help the brain to recognize it's sick, it's malfunctioning in the signaling system, and you need to help it to retrain it and rewire it to its default setting as it was. And if brain had never had anything to do with how you are and what your gender inclination is when you were being created in the wombs of your mother, every limb and every part of you, your heart, your kidneys, your organs and whatnot were being developed, your genitalia, your gender, your inclination, all were being developed without the brain being functional at all. Brain was not in existence when the rest of you was being chosen and created and decided and configured and programmed. So when the brain never had anything to do in the process of creating you, as far as your gender, inclination, and everything else about you is, how could brain have anything to do in the future later on after you're born to change you in any way, shape, or form, let alone your gender or inclination? It can suggest, it can make you, manipulate you, because it's powerful to think, but it can never change you. It's a bunch of neurons that make suggestions, like somebody walking behind you and keep telling you you're something that you're not. That's not going to change you. It's coming from somebody else. Brain is also like somebody else. It keeps repeating something in your head. It just means it's gone nuts. It doesn't mean it has any power. It wants to make you believe that you've changed. So kind of like a puppet, making you behave in a certain way that you've believed what the brain says, and says, see, I've changed his gender. But in fact, he hasn't. If you don't believe it, it can't do shit to you, because you're the only one who can change anything and make it become an actuality in real life. Otherwise, everything else is just an idea, thoughts, image that the brain conjures up. Cannot change you, cannot affect you. If you're duped, it's like you've been had. Like many crooks that try to sell you something that doesn't exist. If you believe it, you think the crook is right. But if you don't believe it, then you're safe. That's the key. Understanding that the brain is not you, you're not the brain. Therefore, you're the only thing in this world, only power in this world, that while you think brain is very powerful, but it cannot become anything unless you allow a thought, a suggestion, become an actuality or reality in the actual world. The brain itself, by itself, cannot do it. Capiche? All right. That was the first question. Yeah, I had done all that. So now, next one. Serves me right. Let's see. Who is okay? Next question was, for instances from all the live talks and Skype consultations you have had, I was wondering if you found a general pattern on how people naturally react towards situations that feel unpleasant. And based on those reactions, what extent are they normal and okay to take personally, and what cases are meant to be taken less personally? It's a big question, but it has a small answer. You can't really come up with a formula that generally how people should or should not react, or do not react, because every person is pretty much the consciousness, and the consciousness is made out of the content of the consciousness. And the content of the consciousness is depending on where you were born, what you have interacted with, how you were raised, how your parents behaved with you, how the teachers, what kind of teachers, what you studied, what environment, what social norms, what regulations and bylaws in that society, what cultural and customs, and what policemen behaved with you, how they behaved with you, what they approach, the attitude, and all the things that he experienced creates content of conscious. What kind of a news, what kind of information, what kind of through the mediums, what kind of lifestyles and ideas and products and promotional things were introduced to you through mediums that we are all bombarded with throughout your upbringing. All those create the content of your consciousness, and that content of your consciousness creates your consciousness, in which it reacts to certain situations. And because each person's content of consciousness is different, their consciousness is different, so they will react possibly and definitely differently, even though the situation they're facing is exactly the same. Because the content of the consciousness is different. So what bounces against that content is going to be different bounce than what same thing bounces in another field, which has a different consciousness. It's like two tennis players standing in front of this wall, flexible wall, where they hit the ball to, and it bounces back. They could hit it in the same angle, but because the velocity angle of the racket and the ferocity and the power and the height they have and everything else, that ball could hit that screen but come back to different angle, different place, different trajectory, and so on. Even though same style of tennis, same racket, same pressure of the strings were used, but it's going to be different because the person who's actually involved in one part of that equation of hitting the ball is a different entity. So the ball bounces differently. It's the same, like your consciousness is the screen, is woven differently. So when the ball hits it, when the situation, event in life hits it, it bounces, it reacts differently, even though it's the same situation in life, same circumstance. So there is no real answer to your question unless it's a specific answer. Anthony, I think with the explanation I had for the HOCD, that answers your question at the time too. Otherwise, if you nitpick and try to dissect and analyze every single thought that shows up, you're going to be actually off course from recovery, because you should stop interpreting thoughts. The topic of the thoughts and intrusive thoughts, interpretation of it is irrelevant. The whole thing is that this is intrusive thoughts. That's all. What does this mean? Does it mean this? And then you go data hunt that. All that is a false direction to recover from HOCD. You simply understand the general topic, and the topic is irrelevant. It's just about the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, and we discussed that already. Anop says, how many months need to cure HOCD 100% without medicine? It's not about months. Sometimes it takes a year and a half, 2 years, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 2 months. It depends of your understanding and lack of interest to pursue, data hunt every suggestion, idea, thoughts, or image that shows up in your brain. Don't interpret them. Focus on the separation of the brain and you. Otherwise, interpretation of it. I have a playlist that is all talks about interpretation of different thoughts. Maybe at least 30 of those are numbered videos that interprets almost every thought that could come to your head. But that is part of your education to understand if you really need to have interpretations, just so you understand it really doesn't matter. But you have an answer for those thoughts or suggestions for your purposes. But there's another playlist that it talks about proving the separation between the thoughts, brain, and you. That you're not thoughts, thoughts are not you. That you're not the brain, brain is not you. And this concept was discussed by Aristotle 1,000 years ago in regards to dualism and materialism. That materialists were saying there's atoms and void. In other words, there's either nothing or atom, something or nothing, physical, tangible. And the dualists were saying there is something beyond the brain. There's something beyond something. Yeah? It's not just something or void. There's something beyond that something. That's what runs you. That's what who you are. Don't try to seek and find yourself in the brain. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. Whatever brain is, you're above the brain. That's you. The one that is above the brain, that is watching the thoughts that the brain makes. That's awareness. That's you that can judge the brain. But when you think you're the brain, then you have no recourse. You think, I'm the brain. So brain says, I'm shitting my pants. I'm shitting my pants. But you say, I am beyond the brain. Brain is my employee. Brain is my subordinate. I am the boss. I choose and veto what brain suggests. Then you understand where you are in this entity. That's very important for you to know. So those videos are available, but there is no specific time. It's not by time. It's by education and understanding how the connection between brain and you. What's the relationship between brain and you? Brain is very powerful, can make things that don't even exist. It has an ability to make things that don't even exist. If it has such an ability, it can convince you to kill your own mother. That's how powerful brain is. But you're not supposed to do what the brain says. You're not supposed to harm anyone just because brain says. And you're not supposed to harm yourself just because brain says. Because brain is crazy. Brain is not an intellect. Brain is an organ. Is a dumb, stupid organ. Is a machine. You have to understand this. Look, brain has the power that can create things that they don't even exist. If you're supposed to believe everything that brain does, then why don't you believe this? Because your awareness says otherwise. This is against nature. This doesn't exist. Do this with me. Do this with me. Close your eyes. Go ahead. Close your eyes. I won't bite. No, close your eyes and imagine. Can you imagine a lion with the head of a duck? A lion with the head of a duck. Can you imagine a lion with the head of an elephant, with the trunk and all? Can you? Yes, you can. Because these are all neurons in the head. It can create anything. It's a little bit more difficult that the neurons from one end of the brain and to the other end of the brain, they go through the sheaths that they have and they travel with these information in a precise moment. The duck and the lions should jive together and create that image. And the brain can do that. But it's not true, is it? It's not real, is it? So if the brain can create something that doesn't exist, brain can also create thoughts and images of you and suggestions, including your inclination, your gender, suggest something that it doesn't exist, is not true, but it can make you think, believe it, just as it can make a lion with the head of a duck. It doesn't exist, but it can do it. Try something bigger. Imagine a Cadillac. A Cadillac, old Cadillac, has two engines, rocket engines, is going towards the moon. The Cadillac with rocket engines is flying towards the moon, and in the front of it, the hood, is got the head of an elephant with the trunk. And the rest is Cadillac, the two booster rockets that is flying to the moon. Can you not see that? Yeah, you can see that. It created, but is it true? No, nonsense. But it can make it as real as it is, but nothing that the brain can make, even as powerful as it can make things that they don't even exist in nature, only you are holding the key to brain ever being able to fool you. Why? Because it's only you who can allow anything that the brain makes to ever become a reality in the actuality, even if it's actually can exist in the nature, let alone the ones that they can live in, exist in nature. The hell with that. But if the brain can conjure up anything, any suggestion that can actually exist in nature, but yet it cannot exist if you don't allow it. if you don't choose it. Without your permission and you're okay, brain has no power. Although it looks like it's got powerful, make you believe things, but even if you believe in something that the brain says, unless you allow it to become an action, to become an activity, to become an actuality in the actual world, it cannot be. Which means you're the boss, all-time boss, not the brain. Once you stop believing in your brain, you become free from thoughts, free from thoughts, free from the mind. And I call mind and brain in this particular juncture the same, but mind and brain are different. So, you must, by educating yourself about HOCD and the brain and you must retrain, rewire the brain, but the way you realize how you should interact with suggestions of the brain. Brain makes a suggestion, you judge the brain. And you show and remind yourself that you're the boss, not the brain. Brain is not your leader, is not your protector. Brain is not your intellect. In fact, in the studies and the research that Dr. Sperry, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Leibet done, these are neurosurgeons and neuroscientists, higher echelon of research, Nobel Prize type of research. These brilliant surgeons have proven beyond the shadow of the doubt that what Aristotle was talking about 1,000 years ago in regards to dualism and materialism, that there is something beyond the brain, and that's you, is actually proven, scientifically proven, that you're not the brain and brain is not you. Dr. Egnar put a report together of the work of all these brilliant doctors, and I enhanced that a little bit, and I brought to you this video that I'm going to put up here, the link for you to consult with, to watch. It's a bit lengthy, but it's packed so much information that you need to know this stuff. I put this up for you to know, to watch it at your leisure. That's one video that I really want you to watch. And then there is another one that I am unanimous on that for you to watch. And that is Observer, which through experiment done in laboratory in regards to quantum physics, it proves to you that you're outside of the brain. You're not part of the brain. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're outside of the brain. And that is tremendous help for you to understand. This video that I'm putting in is an accumulation of 4-part video. They're shorter parts, but this is a complete one, maybe a little bit wordy, but that's all right, because I don't know which one really discusses exactly the part that I want you guys to see. I'm just going to put this for you as the longer one, and I want you guys both see to understand that the brain is not smart, brain is not intellect, brain is not you, you're not the brain. So whatever brain suggests is hocus pocus. You are the judge. You see it. If it's valuable, you use it to facilitate your life. If it's not, you let it die by the wayside by paying no attention to it. So in other words, the videos of Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, these are psychotherapists, psychologists, specialists in OCD and OCD subsets, such as HOCD and whatnot, that you can watch the programs, you can watch the videos and learn and educate yourself more, so you'd be able to see all these things that you're being duped is unnecessary, and help yourself to retrain and rewire your brain to become free by knowledge that this here is not intellect, is an apparatus, is an organ, is a machine. All right. Now, we have a super chat, which I just noticed. So traditionally, we're supposed to go to that. So we will. And Leo the Lion. Oh, that's a name I am familiar with. You have been here before in the past, but it's been a while. And maybe from Seattle. Let's see. Actually, I saw it. That jogged my memory. It says, hello, Meron. Leo M29, male 29, Seattle, Washington. Says, I'm an emotional guy and react out of emotion a lot, pushing people away, blaming myself for people leaving, and beating myself for it. How can I change this and let go? Well, I'm going to give you your $10 credit by minutes when you make an appointment with me on Skype, because this, what you questioned, is going to take about an hour for us to discuss it back and forth. There's so many things I want to ask you, so many things I can share with you. In short, you need to understand that perhaps you're on a journey to prove that you're better than you are, because somehow in life you've been convinced that you're not good enough. Now, every time somebody leaves you or somebody does something against what you hoped it would be, you feel like you've been let down. You feel that you have lost a chance to prove to them that you're really good, you should be respected, and all that. And that bugs you, and you rise to defend that. And you blame others because they took a chance from you to show yourself how good and wonderful you are. That's as much as I can say right now, because there is not much information that I have from you. But you need to understand that your worth and value is within you and your what you accomplish in life, not within the opinion of people, regardless of what their opinion might be. Some people might constantly praise you and say, oh, what a wonderful person you are, but that doesn't make you wonderful. Maybe you were just good to them and it benefited them somehow, and they say that. And some people may be scolding you or putting you down and saying shit about you. That doesn't make you a bad person at all. Maybe those people are inferior and feel threatened by you, or you just couldn't be manipulated by them and they're disappointed and they say shit about you. Neither one of them makes you or break you. You are your actions and your judgments and your lifestyle and what positive environments you create for yourself and for the others around you, how you affect the society and communities around you, people around you. And you need to understand that you don't need to blame others, because as long as you blame others, you feel unhappy. But once you take responsibility for something, says, well, okay, how could I have done this differently? Did I make the right decision there? Obviously not, because the reaction was this. How else could I have done it? Could I have done it any better? Or they're just full of shit? If you analyze all these things, you come to understanding that certain things you got to take responsibility for. You can't constantly free yourself or clear yourself that I'm a good person by blaming others and not taking responsibility. It's not my fault. It's not as if something is your fault that makes you a bad person. No, if something is your fault, that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who's aware and knowledgeable about how to correct things and how not to make the same mistake. So you need to take more responsibility in educating yourself and becoming more resilient about other people's opinions, and don't give a shit about it. Just give a shit about doing the right thing. A decision based on the information that you have. And later on, when you come to information that wasn't available to you when you made the decision, well, then say, okay, that's why I made the wrong decision, because this information wasn't available to me. Maybe next time I got to research more, or next time I contemplate more or sleep on it more, or maybe next time I make a decision based on what the information is available to me at that time. And then later on, I find out that I was wrong. Well, because the information wasn't available. So I'm not going to blame myself that bad. Based on all these little changes, you can then make that change and become now so sensitive. And also, your ego seems to be taking over you and trying to say, whatever I say goes and whatever I say is right. Because if I admit that is wrong, my ego goes down. The ego says, I'm more important than you. And you're supposed to tell him, ego, shut up. You're a piece of shit and you're part of me. And I'm telling you, I don't need you because you're steering me wrong. You're making me react to people based on my ego to protect you. I fight with them where there is no you. There is no ego, is not in existence. I am alive, not you. I'm not going to follow you because you're going to be offended. Fuck you. I'm going to be kind to people I'm going to be reasonable to people. And if it's my fault, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. And if it's not my fault, I'm going to say, fuck you all. I'm going to go. Be fair to yourself and the others. Anyhow, that's the extent of what I can discuss without knowing anything in particular. And I hope that's going to do for now. And you can make an appointment with me. And of course, we'll talk about it in more detail based on what you will tell me. All right. Kind of caught up with the first 41 minutes that I was just talking by myself. That was an experience. All right. Avatar, male, 40 UK. So, hi, Marin. Hello, Avatar. And Just Mike says, anyone here feeling empty inside? Well, of course, Mike. Empty inside after breakup. Of course, you will feel empty after breakup, because when you break up, the only thing you remember of the relationship is the good stuff, because we human beings are made to only think about the good things and forget about the bad things. Because if that wasn't the case, women who would get pregnant with all that pain and discomfort would never want to be pregnant again. But a month or two later, after they give birth, they forget the pain and they're ready to go again and get pregnant again. So we human beings are designed to forget the pain and painful scenarios so we can survive and build and live positively. When you break up, the only thing you're going to remember is selective stuff, such as lovey-dovey and the sex was good and the smiles, holding hand, doing things together. You will not be thinking about the thing that caused the breakup. You will not be thinking about all the negative and horrendous and horrific things that went between you two that ended up that way. All you can think of how you guys were at the outset when you guys met. You won't be focusing on how she treated you. I don't know, he or she, whoever your relationship is. You won't be thinking about how she treated you now and her actuality at the present moment, and how her actuality is, how she interacts with you, how she interacted with you, how she treated you. Now, what you see is just how it used to be, and all you remember is how she used to be with you and how lovey-dovey you guys were. But that is the past, and past is dead. It doesn't exist. So you're bringing and projecting what doesn't exist and how it used to be to her actuality today, which blinds you from seeing her actuality, who she is now, what she has changed into. And then you still crave her instead of paying attention to her actuality and present moment and see how she treats you and say, well, that's not what I like. That's what it used to be what I like. And since this, what I don't like right now is not what that used to be. And I liked what you used to be. And this is not what it used to be. So I don't want it. Because my taste was a girl that I had a relationship and interacted with me and was the way she was then when we met. That's why I was attracted to her. But now this girl is nothing nearly as that. And this girl, the way she behaves and interacts with me now and her actuality is not that girl that I used to know. And I like that girl that I used to know. But this girl is not the girl that I used to know. It's not the relationship that I used to be in. So why would I like it? Because you can't see her actuality. You're looking at her, but you're projecting what she used to be onto this and say, why did I break up with her? You imagine and focus on the troubles and the changes that she has made, and you both have made possibly in that relationship now, and how she reacts and interacts with you now. Then you can see that's not what I like. That was what I liked, and this is not that, and that's what I like. This is not that, so I don't like this. And if you didn't get confused enough, when I upload it, watch it again. All right. So in that way, you need to focus on the abundance that's out there. Amazing woman and beautiful woman that could be resonating with you in the same compatibility and consciousness level that you can connect and then don't forget of the abundance and forget about this that no longer suits and meets your requirements, and focus to find a better choice that is in line with your values today and how you have changed and how she has changed, and try to find compatibility with the tremendous amount of sources out there, an inventory of beautiful, amazing, wonderful, capable, educated, responsible, reliable women that are out there. You don't have to be bogged down to one thing because it used to be. What used to be is not. And what is not what it used to be is not what you like it to be. Therefore, you don't want it. Unwant it. And move on. All right. Then you won't feel empty anymore because you see all the abundance out there. You got to face the fact and the actuality of things. I don't know, it's like a peach or a banana or an apple that was so fresh and beautiful and refreshing and looking great, tasting great. And somehow, through the time, they're spoiled. The apple is spoiled, it's got worms on it. The peach is just really brownish and no tasty anymore. It's kind of tastes like stale and then not fresh anymore as it was picked from the tree. And the banana is kind of, now changed its texture and its looks and colors, and it's now maybe too sweet or too mushy or just not presentable and not inviting. But you keep looking at the apple and the peach and the banana that is all gone, not the same as it was. But you say, but one day it was good, so I should still eat it. Well, you can't. You're going to throw up. You got to see it for what it is. And if you see it for what it is, it says, okay, these are not good. There are other banana and peach and apples out there that I'm going to look to see if I'm still compatible with them. But unfortunately, when it comes to a relationship, you keep trying to make a fresh peach, apple, and banana out of the old stale one that is just all no longer appetizing. But because one day it was, is that what you're going to feel about the apple or the peach or the banana that you have in the fridge and is rotten? Oh, because one day it was, I'm still going to put it in front of the guests or myself. No. So wake up. Do the same thing. Find other apples, peaches, bananas. Lots of them in grocery stores. Or pick them from the tree. All right, then. SNG says, hello, General M34 Manchester. Hello, Sid. Sid, as you can see, we are almost 3. I will cut down at 3 and then give me 15 minutes to have my tea and rejuvenate from the emotional outbursts here. And then we'll have it at 3:15 or so, yeah? Our appointment. Aman says, 21 male, India says, you remember that girl who rejected me and I had long 7 months time with her and I really liked her. Now I'm talking with many girls and not thinking anyone as I liked her. Why? Because you're still talking to these people while you're thinking of her. Forget her. She's history. She doesn't exist. Like you never met her. Focus on the beauty and the characteristics and what they're offering it. Does it help you? If you keep thinking, oh, they're not as good as her. If she was so good, why is she not with you right now? What makes her so good? Someone who doesn't want to be with you makes her so good? Because that's what you're saying. Whatever she was, she's not with you. She doesn't care about you. She's not with you. She's not interested. You're not together. So why do you still think that she's the best? The best is the one who doesn't want you? Grow up. Move your ass, move on, and appreciate the girls who are actually paying attention to you. Those are the girls you can establish a relationship with. Not the one who didn't want to be with you. The hell with it. Gone. That was an experience. But as long as you think she was, then you believe she was. Don't believe she was, no matter how much your thoughts is, oh, she was the best. Why? Why was she best? What? The reason the source of her bestness is your attention and desire for her. Don't desire her, she's no longer the best. Move on. All right, all right. Okay, we're caught up now. Princeton says, "Oh wow, double the effort with answering our questions again. Thank you on behalf of everyone." Yeah, I really did it to myself, didn't I? Euro Paris says, "Hello, Meran. How are you? Aldi Mail 30 Roma. Ah, come stai? Va bene?" Says, "It's possible to calm overactive brain who produces automatic fearful thoughts and is stuck in negative emotions. I have seen a video that when we change narrative, talk to ourselves possible positive stories and positive affirmation, or watching beautiful videos, we can calm amygdala that feels better. Sure, of course, why not? Because we're product of our environment in most cases, and you create that atmosphere. It's like going sitting by the oasis, some nice waterfall, gentle waterfall, not a harsh one, and some flowers and plants around and a little body of water, and just laying down, I don't know, with the, I don't know, a cup of coconut milk or pineapple juice or whatever you like, and I don't know, meditating or just looking at the nature, looking at the birds, talking with a friend, or taking a nap, or waking up, having little goodies. You create an environment of calmness, and the neurons will behave that way, and you calm yourself down. That's why meditation does that. You actually decrease the infinitely active ripples. So in meditation, you you infinitely decrease imperceptible ripples continuously, half, slower. So like you, when you drop a rock into a big body of water, you see these waves have created. Bloom, these waves, big waves. Then as you look at them, they become smaller, thinner, thinner, and the radius of travel is shorter, shorter, thinner, thinner. And as the time back passes, you get closer to the point of entry of the rock. You're no longer following the waves that is creating, because the waves are no longer strong or traveling much. They're at the very close proximity of the hole, and pretty much they disappear. So you're right, just looking at the point pretty much where the rock fell, and there is no longer any movement. That's how you try to decrease the ripples of the mind by meditation, infinitely decreasing imperceptible ripples, infinitely decreasing imperceptible ripples. That's what calms the mind. And then suddenly everything relaxed. It's a principle of meditation, which we have meditation on the channel. If you just put in meditate, there are lots of guided meditation comes. And Anthony says how to deal with trouble making choices and decisions because of HOCD. You focus and base on your choices and vetoes according to the values in line and held safeguarded in your core values. I call it, there are certain principal values that you hold sacred and you hold them in your superconsciousness. It's like the vault. What's sacred, you protect it. Dr. Schwartz calls it wise advocate. That's where you keep values that are important to you for your life, your principal values. Dr. Phillipson calls it gatekeeper. Those are the values that are sacred to you, that guides your life. You keep them sacred in your gatekeeper or your wise advocate or super consciousness. So you lead your life by your choices and vetoes based on what's in line with your values that are held sacred in your vault, in your wise advocate, in your gatekeeper, in your super consciousness. That's the guidance of your life, and your values are held there sacred. So no amount of HOCD or any other OCD or anything can affect it, because those are your core values that you are protecting. And you make your decisions and choices and vetoes based on those. So regardless of what is going to come to your head, you always reference to that, what your values are and where you're keeping them safe. Miami Soldier says, what do you think about paying for sex? I have a video on that. Instead of going into it, I'm actually going to put that for you on here. So you can, here it is. This is called Should I Pay for Sex? And that is what you can watch. There's a link here. Otherwise, because I need to finish our questions because we're close to the end of our program here. Scott Lester. Oh, hello, Scott. Says, you have helped me so much. Thank you for sharing that with us, Scott. I'm delighted. And thank you for kind words. Goldney says, after a relationship of 5 years, my ex moved on directly to another guy while I'm struggling. Is it a rebound? Who cares? The fact that you're asking, is it a rebound? That means you care. You shouldn't fucking care anymore. Why? Because if this wheel doesn't turn for me, I don't care if it turns at all. Meaning, if this food that is on the table is not for me, I don't care how delicious and how pleasantly it is being presented. It's not for me. I don't care. So if she's not with you, giving it to you, her emotions, and affection, you don't care who she with. Or is it because of rebound, or because she thinks the guy is better than you, or she thinks the guy is richer than you, or she thinks the guy's got a bigger dick than you, or none of that shit matters. You shouldn't even give a fuck. Speaking in French and words that you can understand. So I hope you get the gist of it. Don't question why. The why ended when she left you. Then the rest of it doesn't matter, because you're seeking approval. I'm better than this other one. What? Your whole worth and value is based on what the fuck she chooses? Who is she? What has she accomplished in this world that her choices makes or breaks you? The one who chooses is the best of the all, and the one she doesn't choose is not as good. That's how you're graded in this life. We're graded by women. If they choose us, we're good. Even if you're an asshole, if they don't choose us, we are bad. Even if we are a scholar and an amazing person in the world. What makes them qualified to make this such a effect on you, to think that their choices makes or breaks you? Your desire. The power to them is not from them. What gives them importance, power, is your desire and attention to them. If you don't desire them, They have no power. The fact that you want them makes them important and valuable. Otherwise, they haven't on their own created importance and value by accomplishing important tasks in life. What have they done? That their choices have become such monumental in your life. What? Have they cured common cold? Are they taking off the elderly by feeding them, protecting them? Are they safeguarding children? What have they accomplished in this world that makes you so, she chose someone else, so I'm no longer good? Get off your ass and go find amazing women out there who would want to get to know you. And don't ask the stupid questions. But I love you. So it's not a derogatory when I say stupid question. It just means you're beyond it. You're better than that to put yourself down like that. All right. Art Palmo says, male 29 US, having self-esteem issues after fiance left me for another dude, realizing at 29 years old that I may be old to Art, if you were here, I would break that fucking ugly stick on your head talking nonsense like that. So if 29 is old, I'm fucking dinosaur should go and die, right? Yeah? But check this out. Check this out. I'm in shape like never been before. Where is it? There you go. Why am I becoming in shape? Why am I staying in shape? Why am I staying active? Because we all love to be at the best shape of our lives at any age. And we still are trying to bring the quality of our life the way that we expect it and we feel we deserve. You talk like this about yourself at age 29. Fuck, what kind of a life are you leading? Get off your ass and go find other girls and go find other women who deserve you and you have things to offer. 29, you're just a fucking baby. Don't piss me off now. But I love you. So, you idiots, don't waste your youth. You're talking nonsense like that. One is tangling with OCD. One is tangling with HOCD. One is tangling, the girl left me so I don't feel worthy anymore. One is tangling, oh, she left me, my dick is fallen off. Nothing has happened to either one of you, no matter what your brain tells you, that you're no good because she left, or you have HOCD, your gender is changing, or you have OCD and you got to follow touching the wall 50 million times, otherwise something bad will happen to your dad. None of that shit is real. It's all in here. Fix it up. Nothing is wrong with you. Learn it, help your brain, and make yourself stronger because of your knowledge about these challenges, including OCD, HOCD, and breakups and all the other challenges that might follow or face us in life. Victor says, hello, Mehran. I kissed yesterday, girl. You kissed yesterday, or I kissed a girl yesterday? You kissed yesterday, girl. I suggest you kiss today's girl. That I didn't like much, but I enjoyed it. You didn't like the girl, but you enjoyed the kiss. All right, that's fine. And after felt bad, then my HOCD just started to badly that today I didn't have even 5 minutes without HOCD. So, okay. The problem is that you think because HOCD thought shows up, then that's end of your life or end of your day, or it's a big deal. So what? Don't you ever think of something other than something else that you don't like? Like, haven't you walked in the street and see dog shit? Is dog shit nice? No, it's not pleasant. Yeah. But when you see it, you say, okay, that's dog shit. I recognize, oh, that's dog. I'm not interested. You walk by. Same thing. HOCD thought shows up. It's not end of the world. Nothing's going to happen to you. It's just that it's annoying and it's unpleasant because it's not you. If it was you, you wouldn't mind it. So that already tells you that HOCD is irrelevant nonsense. Because you just say, what is it showing now? It doesn't let me do my thing. So meaning it's got no connection with you. It's just annoying. And just because it's something unpleasant, that doesn't mean it means you're unpleasant. It means it's a bad thought showing up in your head. So just like the dog shit, you recognize it. Oh, that's dog shit. I'm not interested. Move on. Intrusive thought shows up. Oh, that's intrusive thought. I'm not interested. Move on. Rather than, why is it there? What's the purpose of it? What does it mean to me? Does it mean I'm something that I'm not? Does it mean something that all that shit? You should just simply leave it at, that's intrusive thought. Hello, thank you. Not interested. Bye-bye. Don't interpret. Don't give it any conclusion. Don't need it not to be there. So for you to feel good, it can be there. Anything in this life is out there. You look at out there. Is everything you see in this life is to your liking? All the lifestyles, all the products, all the hygiene and lack of it, all the people, what they're doing, what they're active in, all the laws, all the regulations, all the manipulations, all the lies, they all exist, but you also exist by just knowing they're there, but they're not of your liking or your interest or your approval. You just keep on maneuvering among all these shitty things and hurdles, but to find your way in the universe and go on, accomplish what you want to accomplish. Same thing in your head is also a world. Lots of shit comes up. Instead of focusing on the shits, you focus on where you want to go and negotiate all around it, move away, maneuver, and avoid and go. Just like we do here. There's nothing bad about thoughts showing up. There's no thought bad. There's no thought good. Some thoughts are pleasant. Some thoughts are not pleasant. Don't question anything. Just maneuver away from the ones that you feel unpleasant and go about the ones that you feel pleasant and do the things that you're supposed to accomplish in that daily life. Don't waste your time trying to refute, stop, destroy, dissipate, demolish the bad thoughts, because if they're there, that means I'm bad. That means I'm changing. That means the brain is me. It's going to make me. Nothing. Don't be afraid of it. Your thought. Dick up my ass. Oh, thank you. I'm not interested. Or something else, or whatever else that might come up, depending on your inclination, your gender. If you're, a homosexual and the HOCD comes to your mind, you might say, well, pussy, I'm not interested. Oh, okay. But so, in other words, thoughts can be there. You can't be cleaning everything up, a sterile environment before you walk out of your home. No cars should be in the street because I might get hit. And I don't want to maneuver. I just want to go without any cars. Or no poos. Clean the streets before I... This is a world. Every shit exists there. And you find your own way rather than paying attention to the things that you're not interested in. Brain, too, creates all kind of 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, all kind of shit and garbage with whatever information and images and suggestions through mediums, TV, movies, and publications and everything else, and discussions that have been entered into our brains. It just creates thoughts without the brain knowing what it makes. But it just makes thoughts because brain is thought manufacturing plant. But so be it. You just focus on what it is that it's useful to you and what you want to accomplish in the day, rather than paying attention to all these other things that happen to be there as part of the brain's secretion, brain's productions, like as part of everything else that is out there in the world. You can't avoid them. You can't avoid thoughts. They're not in control. You're not making them. The brain is making them. So what you're not in control in, you just maneuver away from it. Just like the streets. So many things you don't like about the things that are in this world. But we can't be focusing on that. I just find the groups or the niches and the things that I'm interested in. I go do my things. Whatever it is, I want to do live stream. I want to do horseback riding. I want to go to shooting range. I want to go to gym. I talk to the friends that are, they meet my values, and the other ones that are out there that I'm not interested in, so I won't. But I can't take them all away before I can enjoy my life. Same thing with the brain. All kind of shit shows up here. So, okay, just they're there. So what? I'm not I'm not affected by it. Because why? Because I'm the actual power. I'm the ultimate power. None of these thoughts can do anything to me unless I allow it. And I don't, because I'm in charge. I don't care how many times they show up and they try to, bother me. The key's in my hand. They can die by the wayside because I don't pay attention to them. They're there. I'm aware of it, but that's it. I go by my business. All right. All right, guys. Cammy says, "Why does my ex always show up in my dreams somehow, even though it's been months past? Because you haven't found another girlfriend and you're still thinking about her and all the sexuality and all that. I don't know. Are you? What are you? Are you male, female? What are your thoughts on hopelessness? Well, then create hope. You're the generator for all these moods and thoughts. Create what you don't like, create something against it. Opposite. Hopelessness, create hope. Have a plan, things you want to accomplish. Go learn it. Go take action towards it. Create your life. You're waiting life to be made for you. Go make life. That's the only chance we got. Who you waiting for? For the fucking government or what? A hand from the sky to show up? You're the boss. You're the god of you. Believe in your God, whatever it is, but you are the second in command after God. So if that's what you believe, go for it. You're waiting for it to be offered to you. Government doesn't give a shit about you. Policeman doesn't give a shit about you. Nobody gives a shit about you. Make your life the way you want it to be. Everything legal, but make the life the way you want to be. You're responsible for it. You're the boss. So change your stars. And why does my ex always comes to my dream? Because you haven't find another girlfriend and you haven't replaced her. You're still looking and thinking of her and masturbating for her. Leave that and go on, find the real actuality in life and start a relationship that will dissipate. She wasn't the only girl around. If that's, I don't know who you, again, don't forget to introduce yourself properly, guys. Age, gender, where you're tuning in from, so I know who I'm talking with. 11TQG says, Maron, I went to a therapist about HOCD, and after a year, he told me that HOCD doesn't exist and should try with a man. Tell him to go fuck himself. He told me that we are doing ERP, but okay, but he has no idea. But because not every psychologist knows about OCD and the brain's function and malfunction, and they're just idiots who call themselves jack of all trades. But every psychologist has a speciality, and the field of research, neuroscience and psychology and psychotherapy has advanced so much that idiots like this that you go pay your money to don't know shit, and you're trying to get. Why don't you focus on the experts that are all around the world? And when you go to idiots who don't know what they're talking about, well, they're going to say that because they have no other way to justify or to analyze what you're asking them. Cami says, I'm a female. Okay, thanks for that. So now switch it, because you haven't found a boyfriend yet and you think that that was the only guy because you put all your hopes into that guy, waiting for a guy to make a life for yourself. The first thing you want to do, you make sure you complete your education if you haven't. Make sure you have a career, you have a job that you love, and you progress in it and advance in it. Make sure you make money for yourself so you don't raise your hand in front of your boyfriend or your future husband or whoever it is. You'll be independent. And therefore, once you have all these independence and confidence in yourself, you'll gain more confidence, and you will choose your partner or your girl or your boyfriend based on your preferences and your qualifications and your standards that you expect to be met, rather than your needs for companion or for comfort or money or whatever it is. I don't know what your situation is. I'm just spitballing here and saying it in general. So first, build yourself so you can create and generate confidence. And once you have that confidence, guys will follow you. Don't forget, you women are very powerful. We love you all. we follow you all. We are programmed to pursue you because to us, women are the center of life, the ones that we want to take care, protect, respect, love, worship, and provide for. So, for that reason, you have a very important and safe place in this world. But take care of yourselves, educate yourself, make yourself independent, stay fit, look good, take care of yourself with respect, and have certain criteria that you expect from your uh, what is it? Prospect, a candidate, a suitor, and then you'll be fine. But build yourself up first, and then go find a new boyfriend. Forget that one. That's gone. You don't need. You gotta find someone that you want that person for that personality of person, not because that person can do things that you cannot, such as providing for you, making a life. Do that yourself, and then choose a boyfriend or partner. All right, guys, looks like we hit all the questions that I wanted to hit, and we are back on top. Okay, it's time for me to end it. I have an appointment on Skype. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I hope that I wish I didn't waste the 41 minutes of it talking, answering all your questions. I mean, to redo it again, but we did. So together, we did a good job today. I love you all. Looking forward to the next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself, and to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.